Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Views and News, and I'm Faisal Rahman, live from our Islamabad studios. Today, we'll be talking about the US presidential election 2020. As we all know, that the magic date is the 3rd of November, and that is going to be very crucial because this is going to be the second term of Mr. Donald Trump as the President of the United States of America, and Mr. Mike Pence as the Vice President of America. Whereas the opponents, we all know, Mr. Joe Biden, a very, I would say, recognized face and one of the leading candidates at the moment, as we say, and Kamala Harris as his Vice President. We all know when it comes to data, even in the previous election of 2016, we all thought that most likely Hillary Clinton is going to win. But the opposite happened, and eventually it was Donald Trump who ended up becoming the President of the United States of America. Now, this year, a lot of people believe that maybe the data is not going to matter. It is going to be a very close context, but there are a couple of areas. For example, when it comes to the overall control over the coronavirus or COVID-19, I think that has been a failure of the Americans. One of the US former Treasury Secretary also mentioned that they could have learned from Pakistan and could have saved up to $16 trillion. At the same time, when you talk about the blame game, whenever something goes wrong, Mr. Donald Trump is going to blame one of his associates, whether it's Dr. Fauci or anybody. Then you talk about the economy, and Donald Trump believes that a lot is happening within the borders of the United States of America. More job creation, more conducive environment, and let's see where it leads. This is what his claim is. And he says that we are going to win the White House. Impact of the US election on the world politics, that is also going to be very, very important. What exactly is happening and who is meddling in their election this time? Last time there were a lot of blame game. If you remember, certain emails of Hillary Clinton, they were leaked and the Russians were blamed. And then we talk about the US policies. Will they change under Joe Biden? Now, that is $1 million question, because when we talk about Afghanistan or we talk about certain other areas where we believe that the Americans would withdraw, is it going to take place, that withdrawal, or no? That is something, again, very important. And obviously, when we say that the United States of America is the most powerful country in the world, the President of the US in fact matters a lot. Now, well, it's a very detailed data which I have with me, but I'll cut it short and I'll rather introduce you to our panelists. We have with us in our studio Air Vice Marshal retired Faiz Amir Saab. Thank you very much, Faiz Saab, for your time. And we have with us Dr. Waqas Ali Kausar Saab, who's a public policy analyst. Dr. Saab, thank you very much for your time as well. And we'll be talking to Dr. Zulfikar Kazmi Saab also, who's an expert on foreign affairs. Kazmi Saab, thank you very much for your time as well. Now, Evin Faiz Amir, interestingly now, the upcoming US presidential election, finally 2020 is here, and time just flew. And I still remember you were here on the same chair and we were talking about the previous election 4 years ago. And we all, in fact, thought that most likely Hillary Clinton is going to win, but the opposite happened. This time, sir, there's a mixed trend. A lot of people believe that do not take Trump lightly. This man means business and he is going to win again. Whereas when you look at Joe Biden, sir, the current data suggests that he is also giving Trump some really tough time, I would say. Your take, sir.
Well, if you go by two main indicators that people look at when talking about the American elections, one is the fundraising, which party has raised more funds and which party has more funds in the last 2 weeks. And then the other one is the polls, the daily polls that are being conducted. So people go by the polls and they probably look at the windsock, that who is going to lead. Last time, Hillary Clinton spent twice the amount the President Trump spent, and she was leading all along the polls, leading Trump in the polls. It happens the same this time. I was just reading, Mr. Trump is left with only $77 million in his election campaign, whereas Mr. Biden has over probably $177 million in his kitty. So he is leading. He has a lot of money for the last 2 weeks, and generally the last 2 weeks they spend on the TV ads. So
Proper
Trump
advertisement,
is
yeah.
definitely short on that account. The other one is polls. All polls at national level show that Mr. Biden is leading by 7 to 10% in various states. And but as we learned last time, the indicators, they can lie to you, and they can probably may not be the true indicators. What matters in US elections is what Clinton said, it is economy is stupid, and it remains the economy. Now, if you look at the Trump track, in the last campaign, he talked about the bringing the economy back, rejuvenating the American economy. He talked about boosting jobs. He talked about increasing trade and tilting
He
the
primarily focused on the internal issues, yeah.
trade to his own, to the American side. And he also talked about against the immigrants. Now, if you look at, he stood true to all his 4 promises that he made, major slogans that he had, the economy, jobs, immigrants, and the trade. He stood his grounds on all 4 accounts, and economy has been booming till COVID came in. Had been booming till COVID came in.
Yep.
So there were jobs, and there were lower taxes for both the corporate sector and for the common American people. There were lower taxes. There were the economy, the stock exchange repeatedly did well, and it had spikes, tremendous spikes. So what I mean is that if you go by economy, then Mr. Trump has a better record to show to his own people, because he thinks he is promising that after the COVID, the economy will bounce back.
But sir, his opponents, his adversaries, primarily they are blaming him for the mismanagement and mishandling of COVID-19, in
Yes.
which more than 200,000 precious lives were lost, and they blame him directly for that.
That is
and he, in fact, now has started blaming Dr. Fauci.
Actually, it is the other way around. Vice President Pence was handling the COVID campaign along with Dr. Fauci. So he is not calling Vice President Pence out. He's not calling him out.
Even later, at one stage, Jared Kushner, his son-in-law,
Yeah.
was handling it.
Yeah. So yes, people do say that he mishandled it, but I don't think it is a big item which is vote bank, and that is the American Anglo-Saxon white supremacist vote, the young people, the blue collar people. Those who voted for him in the last time, he hasn't lost that vote bank yet, and he feels confident that probably
That
he can
vote
turn
bank, I would say, Ibn Sahib, is still very much intact.
Yeah.
And this is what I was reading today. There was an article, and they were talking about Wisconsin and a couple of other states in the Midwest. And they said, well, 2 or 3 very important factors would matter. One is about the non-college going whites. And when you look at the total population of USA, around 330 to 340 million, and those who are over 18, those who can actually vote, they're around 280 million. Let's suppose 50% people, if they come out and vote on that particular day, this is going to matter a lot. And I think these Midwest states would be the game changer. And secondly, also tell us about those who are still confused. You know, how can Trump or for that matter, Mr. Joe Biden can persuade them and, you know, make them vote for whoever? Your take, Dr. Saab.
Thank you very much. First of all, 2, 3 things. I mean, once we talk of prediction, of course, it's a very complex system of American political system, particularly when we talk of that. That's why it's very difficult to predict 100% results. I mean, over the period of time, it has not only evolved, but complexity is also, you know, arisen over the period of the time. 2, 3 things I must say. One, of course, the Trump agenda during the previous election. I mean, we have seen that there are always the gray areas and there are always the divides in the society. There was this potential divide in the society because we all know the history of US that people have fought civil wars. I mean, the black people, especially the people with other races, they have also struggled a lot to get the voting rights and all these things. So this was there. Sadly, I mean, the thing which he exploited, I mean, was something he had divided and polarized their society. Over the period of time, we have seen even in the Floyd incident, you have seen, I mean, overall the social order was disturbed. So one of the indicators of elections, when the scientists, political scientists say is your social order along with the economy as well. So on that count, I must say that this society and overall gap has widened, one. When you say these Midwest states, I mean, see, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, for that matter, I mean, from the before this last election, these were Democratic states, but he has won that. But this time, the poll says that Biden is leading over there. Now, when we analyze those elections things in U.S. particularly, not only states, but this analysis goes county by county and district by district generally, because we see in many blue states, Obama won. In red states, Obama also won. And in many states which were Democratic, they're suburbs, the areas which are not urban, the Republican candidate won. So it's a very complex thing. But one of the things that we need to see is that why this time the Trump has lesser chances, in my understanding. There are 2-3 things. One, see, importantly, when we see he has not a very visible outside America any success factor. Let's be honest. I mean, calling out forces from Afghanistan is one thing, but there is not a big victory in his kitty or something which he can cherish or something he can say to the public. Second, we've seen the economy thing. I mean, during his first campaign, he was talking about the immigration thing. Which
but Dr. Saab, couple of things. For example, I mean, when he took charge as the President of the United States of America, we got to know that the Mexican president is going to visit the United States of America, which he did not, because he said that we'll be erecting a wall. Then we all know what happened regarding NAFTA, regarding NATO, regarding the China-US policy, South Asia, Middle East, Russia, USA. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and then you talk about the use of force. I still remember right after he took charge, at least 110 missiles were fired on Syria. Mother of all bombs was dropped in Afghanistan, right close to our border. And the kind of aggression he had shown, and maybe at some stage he realized that this is not going to work out.
See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the question is, the structure of US politics is such that the president does not have much domestic space to talk about. He generally talks about the foreign policy issues. But the question is, was he able to reverse Obamacare? I mean, he has been saying a lot, but it was not, he couldn't be able, he was unable to do away with that. Second, the question of the dreamers, that the immigrants and the dreamers, particularly the Obama has given them some leverage for their rights and all that. Was he able to do that? Not. The question is, even on the climate change, there is a lot of resistance there as well. So the question is, I don't think so. This overall polarization, his understanding of US politics, targeting a very specific community work this time, because there is a lot of UN cry resistance within the society. And I particularly see, if you say the overall image of the US as a state, I mean, it has certain value system on which US system has been erected. I mean, the value system of compassion or the tolerance, it has completely, if not completely, in many ways, he has tried to reverse that. So in my opinion, what I personally think that these states, of course, will matter, but on the other side, I mean, when we talk about Florida, we just read that I guess around more than 1 million people of Hispanic origin has also got in this time registered as the voters. The question is, what was the message to them? What is the attraction to the minorities and the other people, and especially the urban class, I must say, to vote for the Trump? In COVID crisis, you have seen it's the blaming. I mean, you're blaming one country sometime. It has been racist in saying so many comments. So I don't think so in a society over there. Last time it was there. I mean, even the popular vote was with Hillary Clinton. But I don't think so any compelling factor which will motivate the larger fabric of society, particularly in US, to vote for the
question
Trump.
is that who can keep United States of America intact? That is the million-dollar question,
No,
sir.
there is no danger to United States as a country or
No,
as
sir,
a,
because sir,
or as the
there was
dominant power.
Ifim Saab, there was this report that the black Americans, they are buying a lot of weapons there. I mean, it's double or maybe triple in certain states. I mean, when you look at their spending on that particular product. Then you talk about, for that matter, sir, this issue of Black Lives Matter. I think it was totally mishandled by the current government of the United States of America, sir. You talk about the Latino vote. You talk about the Muslim vote. Initially, everybody thought that this is what Hillary Clinton is going to get hold of. It did not happen, sir. A lot of the non-whites, Latinos, blacks, Muslims, they voted for Donald Trump. So again, there is a confusion, sir, in that
Well,
aspect.
two states, Florida and Pennsylvania. Florida, last 12 campaigns, 12 elections, 11 times they voted for the winner. And Florida happens to be the birthplace of Mr. Trump. He won Florida last time. So it is, people think if Mr. Trump is able to win Florida this time, his chances are 50-50. And if he loses, and by the way, Florida announces the election results on the same night. So if he loses Florida, probably he's gone, he's dumped.
Florida really matters. Sir.
Pennsylvania is again another state.
Remember the
where-
election of Mr. Bush?
Yeah. So the,
Versus Al Gore, was
the
it Al Gore,
Latino
if I'm not
vote,
wrong?
the Latino vote probably would matter in Texas more, Pennsylvania and Florida.
New Mexico this
and,
side.
And all these three states, the Latino votes are more in up to 65% in favor of Mr. Biden. So yes, there's definitely number-wise, you can count that there are people who are not for Trump. But he surprised everyone last time. I think the last campaign against Trump was more vicious than this time.
Exactly.
And so and he turned around. I'm not saying that he will win, but I'm saying it's a very tight contest, and no one can write him off. As far as his impact on the world, I think it's had a huge impact, negative or positive. It had a
Absolutely.
huge impact.
The most talked about president, I would say. sir.
Probably would be remembered for a very long time. Starting from NAFTA, come down to the Trans-Pacific Pact with the Pacific countries. Look at the NATO, the treatment he gave to NATO, and he pulled out troops from Germany. And he even levied tariffs on French steel and French wine. So he has been, and he's been threatening that he has promised that in the next campaign.
Forced the NATO countries to spend more than 2%
more
of
than
their
2.
GDP on weapons and buy them from
and
USA.
he promises to reduce the number of US troops that are stationed globally. So he's actually doing things where, in his view, the world was taking a free ride on the American voters' tax money. So I think he stands,
All right.
and these are the points that go well with majority of the Americans who have been hit very hard by the COVID this time.
Well, sir, we've also been joined in by Dr. Zulfikar Kazmi Sahab. Kazmi, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
Sir, thank you very much for taking out your time and talking to PTV World. Sir, first of all, since we are talking about the upcoming US election, still a lot of confusion prevails. We are not going to predict that who's going to win or who's going to lose. But, sir, in your honorable, I would say, research and your opinion, what do you think, sir? What's happening? What's the probability this time?
Thank you very much for having me. And I agree with your preamble, which you have given earlier. Something, a very clear picture about America and its election and what people are thinking. Now the perspectives are entirely different. This election is not the same. Fortunately, I have seen 7 presidential elections, earlier. So I know that what is happening now and what was happening before. So it's very important to learn about the complex of system, actually, When we talk about the popular vote, we just say that people are casting the vote and someone will be elected. No, it's a different system, Electoral college and other things are more important than anything else. And meanwhile, now the perspectives are different. Now, what is happening, most of the times we have seen that both sides are confronting not only the agenda of individual agenda, even they are talking about in a different perspective, So we have seen something, a different scenario in America. But they are thinking, now you have mentioned that what was the thinking about previous elections, how they were campaigning, how they were making and shaping the opinion of the people. Now it's a different thing. Earlier, we have seen that what Barack Obama at that time said. We could understand a clear difference of sides very easily. Barack Obama at that time, he said that Islam is a part of America. Now, even is not accepting the American Muslims' existence in America. He has confronted directly to the Muslims of America. This is very, very true story about America, that America based on diversity. And what founding fathers had given a very clear message to move that society forward. Now somewhere people are stuck and the system is stuck. So this election will be making a huge difference before we have seen other elections. Now, both sides, it's very clear to us that both sides are not talking about clearly what is economy. Even world is focusing now moral economy, but American presidents are fighting just for the personal agendas. They are attacking on each other, This is something very different in America. And people of America never like to see this one. And I have seen that another thing that we people can easily understand, that when a woman is, run-mate with some candidate, it's always happened that the candidate is loser. We have seen Hillary Clinton, that what was, happening with her. We have seen Sarah Palin. We have seen other many examples are before us. So this is Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Definitely, they are humanitarian figures. They talk about humanity. They talk about different issues. They talk about Muslim world. They talk about that how they can run the economy. But things are very clear now that a vast majority is not understanding their perspective while Donald Trump talks about in a different way. Because free market economy of America, this even idea has been ruined. This is not being discussed as earlier it was discussed in other election campaigns. And even you see that when we talk about the presidential debates, what was happening? It was truly amazing, and from both sides, not amazing in positive way. That how they talk about, American issues. We are not talking about what is happening in about COVID-19. It's such a irresponsible way of Donald Trump. Even today, he has confronted the media that why you are. Even president has to say something as a fatherly figure. He has to communicate his heart. He has to transform his not only mind, heart. And this is what founding fathers had told. So this is the clear difference what in current elections will be happening and what will be the result. Meanwhile, another thing which is very important.
Dr. Zulfikar Kazmi Saab, I'll just get back to you on that. One important area, Dr. Saab, and that is about the presence of a woman. I mean, he mentioned something very important, talking about the former vice president candidate, Sarah Palin from Alaska. She was doing a brilliant job, lost. You talk about Hillary Clinton. A lot of people believe that if Sandy Byrnes were there, things would have been a lot different. But anyway, since she was a woman, still there is a school of thought that she lost. Now, Kamala Harris as the VP, the candidate for the vice president for the Democrats. What do you see happening now, sir, on that front?
I would like to differ here when it comes to Hillary
Is it a
Clinton.
myth or a reality?
No, to my understanding, I mean, there is one perspective that once regarding the female gender, she was from a female gender side, and it was sort of a discrimination maybe, or something people generally say, the way Dr. Saab also said. But I personally think that was not the case because of certain reasons. In US elections, in past as well, we see with number of factors, there is always a factor of charisma as well, and the message that you contain. I personally think that Hillary Clinton has some other issues as well, that she was unable to impress and convince the people with the message and the legacy of her husband as well. That could have been, in my understanding, one reason as well.
And it was also believed that she wasn't acceptable to the Russians. That is primarily one of the reasons that her emails were all leaked. and that caused a lot of problem for him.
But having said that, one thing I just want to say, the way he was saying, I mean, building on that, I mean, the fundamental problem is we have witnessed that presidential debate as well. The overall level of debate and the content of the debate, of course, America being the superpower of the world, leading economy and all these things, actually this was something which was quite depressing to all of us. And right now, I don't see even the content on the Joe Biden or the Democratic side. It's sort of a reaction of one's argument to the another. The fundamental issue that I guess we need to analyze as well in this campaign is as well that this was a global crisis of COVID. This was a global recession. It has multiple impacts on countries and economies, and a lot of countries in the world, fortunately and unfortunately, look at U.S. response and all that thing. This wasn't there. And if this time even the VP, the Kamala Harris, if she doesn't go through, if she doesn't succeed, I mean, that could be the reason that the way they frame the message. Because most of the content we see of both is that reaction to each other. Trump, of course, strength is that he talks very straight. He talks something which always doesn't mean logical, rational, but is exploitative in many ways. So that was the downside of Democratic campaign, that we overall see that the message, the overall global, the American values which the society is based on, and this is called the liberal party, and particularly of diversity, inclusiveness, collaboration, that we didn't see as something very, very obvious in that debate. So that could be one reason, again, I must say, for her. But overall stats, when we see that, this time the difference is that the states which were, I mean, out of 10 swing states, 6, I guess, were won by Trump in the previous elections. But this time we are witnessing, as per polls, things are different. So I don't find any reason that that this overall thing would go into the Trump's favor. I don't.
Two important areas, sir. You'd like to comment on the same
Yes,
point? Please go ahead, sir.
I think Kamala Harris is a lightweight as compared to Mr. Pence as a vice presidential candidate. He has now vast experience, and he's been there for the last maybe 3-4 decades in public service, and he has a 4 years experience as a vice president
also, yeah.
And he also has a vast experience of handling an emergency like COVID itself, whatever people may say, but he was there and he was heading it. Whereas the public sector experience of vice presidential candidate Kamala is next to nothing, though she claims, but of having judicial reforms on her side and probably police reforms. But when you go through the papers, I think she has nothing much to show. So if you compare the two vice presidential candidates, then Vice President Pence is definitely comes out stronger, and he adds to the campaign of President Trump. The other thing that probably could go against candidate Biden is his age. He will be 78 when he takes oath, if he takes oath in January 21, and that is, he will be probably the oldest
of cancer and so many other things.
And he would be the oldest president in history taking oath in USA.
Sir, last election, it was Mr. Trump who was the oldest president.
Even Trump would be the oldest if he wins, but there's a 4 years gap between the two of them. And in my view, if you look at the overall canvas, there's only one candidate in the US election, that is Mr. Trump. The other is a party.
Okay.
The other is Democratic Party. It could have been anybody over there, but if you look at the personality of a candidate, it is Mr. Trump. And he is fighting for himself and against himself on both sides. So probably that is going to be the major factor in deciding that how does Mr. Trump succeed in shooting himself in his foot. That is the only case probably he'll lose. There's no charisma about Mr. Biden. You haven't heard much of very clear stances on many issues. Even China, he has been ambivalent against China. But whereas Mr. Trump
He's very straight, yeah.
Has been he has been calling out his stands on everything, starting from economy to Europe to Iran to Middle East. I think he has been very clear right or wrong, I'm not
That is a
saying.
separate chapter, but
That's
yeah.
he has been very clear and very loud about his stance. Whereas Mr. Biden probably has a reputation of a weaker health. Is not that strong as Mr. Trump appears to be.
Mr. Trump recovered from
and
corona
that
also,
could
sir.
be-
He's a
and that
champion.
could be- another factor probably is the stimulus package that
For the economy?
For the economy, that both the parties agreed on a 6 trillion stimulus package, and now they have agreed to stop it and let the next president announce it. But if you look at the progress of COVID itself, the people who benefited from the previous package, stimulus package, now they are running out of money.
In fact,
And
yeah.
if they don't get the package now, that could go against Trump.
So that is
Because-
also a very confusing
area.
Now, AVM Saab, one important point, and that is about the vote of youth. I mean, you know, whenever we talk about the vote of youth, I mean, the first thing which comes in our mind is PTI, and that made the difference, sir, in Pakistan. When, you know, when youngsters are charged, they go out, they vote, and that makes the difference. Now, this time, sir, a lot of youngsters, they have said that they will protest around 3%, that if Mr.
Biden wins.
Mr. Biden wins. And at the same time, they also support Donald Trump because they believe that this man can actually stimulate the economy. And whether good, bad, or ugly, sir, this man means business. Your quick comment on
there
that.
is yet another vote which matters most this time, and that is a mail-in vote.
Yeah.
The mail votes that I think they have.
This is going to be the
till
highest,
last,
I think,
till
ever.
till last Monday, 30.2 million people had voted by mail. And these votes are counted after the elections day. So it probably might take many days for
And
the
they could make the
result.
difference.
And that is why Mr. Trump has been against mail-in vote, because the youth will vote on the day of election, whereas the elderly people have voted before because they are so scared of going to their polling booths
Yeah.
because of COVID.
The nature of election, the nature of polling is going to be very different as well,
What
yeah.
Mr. Trump feels is that the elderly who would vote for Mr. Biden, they have already voted through the mail-in votes, and they will continue to vote through the mail-in votes. Whereas the youth that probably would support him, that would probably come on the day of that day.
Well, I
so
mean,
that is where the you raised a point about the people buying a lot of arms and ammunition. Both sides are buying arms
So
and
black
ammunition.
guerrilla groups,
No, there
white
have been,
guerrilla
yes,
groups.
there have been calls.
Never seen such
because
thing of that sort in USA.
This time, the election may not be decided on the election night, because 30 million votes will be counted after that.
The next, yeah.
And there is a lot of controversy because they to ratify or to verify a vote, they examine the signatures. And if
So they're
signatures
not
don't match,
bogus
the
votes, yeah.
bogus votes. So I think that period between the election night and the night or the day when the mail-in votes will be counted would be a time of uncertainty for the American people.
I hope that something like Afghanistan shouldn't happen in USA, where the number 2 candidates, I mean, he rejects the results and he says, well, settle me as well.
No, if you look at he has already
Said
indicated
that, yes.
and not only him. The most disturbing aspect is that the present Supreme Court candidate, Justice Barry, who's being nominated for the, she also avoided the question that can a presidential candidate
Say so?
refuse to hand over power. And she said this is a political, I mean, the
It has
answer
never
to,
happened before,
the
but this
answer
is going
to all
to
of
go-
us
yeah.
appears so clear.
Yeah.
But she evaded the question, the answer, answering that by saying it's a political question.
And that she was she was one of the favorites of
So
of
what I
Trump.
want to tell you is that the frame of mind that exists,
All right.
that if he refuses to hand over, if he contests the election results, there would be people that would go along with Mr. Trump.
All right. Now, Kazmi Saab, talking about the effect of this result on the global politics, for example, Middle East, South Asia for that matter, South China Sea, your issues in the Baltic Sea area as well, sir. Your take on that point.
Yes. One thing which I want to speak about, that is very important to learn, because age and gender was discussed in this segment. You know, Bob Dole, John McCain, both they lost their elections. Even people were thinking they are very credible, they are very trusted, they are very accomplished, but they lost their elections. In this election, you will see, as my other colleagues were saying here, it's true that age and gender will be matter. As you have asked about the global scenario and what America will be doing in future after presidential elections or during this election, what people are thinking. In fact, there were some very important, issues which he handled according to American perspective. Number one, in Middle East, what Donald Trump did. Definitely, it was not desired, decision by the people who they were living in Middle East. That's Israel and Palestine matter. So we can easily understand what Donald Trump have a standpoint for the Arab and for our South Asian region, if we talk about. It's very clear for us that Donald Trump want to get something in our region that we people may understand that what will be going in future for we have a big initiative for the CPAC. We have China and Pakistan relationship. We have Iran. We have a very soft viewpoint about Iran or something, But these are the issues which Donald Trump have very aggressively addressed. So we need to understand what Donald Trump is having a very clear standpoint that he is not accepting this kind of items, because he is directly talking about, when he talks about America and diversity and other religions, we may easily understand how he wants to see the world. He's very clear about that one. One thing which I want to add in it, because this election will be happening in a different perspective. We need to understand what Donald Trump is saying. He's drawing the attention of the world that America is not the same as it was before. It is very, very fragile line. If we understand about this one, then we can think about that what Donald Trump is talking about, So in my viewpoint, I think that these elections will be surprising people as it was surprised at the time of Hillary Clinton. People were thinking that Hillary Clinton is a winning candidate. Then people saw that how things were moving and what were the results about it. So this is very clear,
So let me add another question for you. Since you were talking about the overall global impact of the election, which is to be held on the 3rd of November, tell us one more thing, sir. When you talk about the policy, obviously, we do understand the kind of engagements Mr. Donald Trump he has and the kind of policy he has adopted over a period of last 4 years and so. In case, let's suppose Mr. Biden wins the election, sir, do you think the policy would be the same which was earlier adopted by Mr. Trump, or you see a typical orthodox change, whether you talk about Afghanistan or you talk about Middle East for that matter, sir?
I think he would like to continue with his policy because this has given some benefits to America. Even when we talk about the COVID-19, we have seen that economy is not so bad as other countries have. What is the
But
impact?
sir, I'll tell you one thing.
Impact of the-
I was in States exactly when this recession started. I mean, I still remember we would practically, book a place, a table, before we used to go, because you won't be a walk-in customer there anymore because there were so many people waiting. And eventually, within a span of 6 to 8 months, I have practically seen normal cars were being dragged away by the banks. Forget about the houses and whatever happened during that time period. A lot of people believe, and I'm talking about California, which is one of the richest states, that situation out there on ground is practically worse than that of 2007-8, sir.
That's very clear to us that Donald Trump, what he did in 4 years, he wanted to keep one idea which was generated by the founding fathers. That is free market economy idea, that he was inviting from different regions to invest in America. He was not encouraging people to go from America. So this is a very clear scenario which we have seen in the market. So Donald Trump, while we talk about how he talks about the values of America, how he talks about the generosity, how he talks about the people, we should see that practically what he accomplished. He tried to save the market in America. So this is very serious aspect in America. When people will be voting, they will be thinking one thing. There's definitely others earlier, they were just exploiting that they have created several jobs or something, but the impact was not as Donald Trump has made. So this is one thing which is giving benefit to Donald Trump, and he has basically, I think that he has a smooth passage for the policy, and he will be doing everything as he done in previous 4 years. Maybe something people could understand that he will not be talking about immigrants furthermore, because he knows that people were so much reactive. Even during all these election campaigns, he was keeping him low as while he was speaking about the immigrants issues. So this is making an impact on American policies, on American free market economy, and even with the relationship outward in America. Donald Trump, one credit which he could be given very clearly, that he has saved America from terrorism even, This is because he brought all those things which could make people understand that what is terrorism and how they could be reactive. Definitely one thing which is still pending, that is the gun violence or something, but during his time, a couple of incidents happened. These were, must not be ignored, but overall, his policy is protecting America. So economically, he's protecting America. And he is bringing back the troops. And
All right.
Afghanistan, yes.
All right. So last
I
quick
think there
comment.
will be a lot of changes in American foreign policy. Mr. Biden has clearly said he believes in multilateralism. He said that he will join the Paris Climate Agreement once again. He said that he will concentrate initially more on the Americans' own problem than probably on the outside. So I think there will be a definitely bigger change as Mr. Biden would try to woo back the Europe. And one last point that I want to make is the election of 2024 will be a much better election. Mr. Trump won't be there.
Let's see.
Just to add one thing, I mean, they have already lost the House in 2018. We have to keep that in mind. And then we have the 35, they have the Senate election of 35 seats. Now the fundamental question is,
They have a similar situation just like in Pakistan.
Yeah.
March.
So we have in March. The question is, in the overall scenario, was the Trump successful when we talk about economy, when we talk about the American international image, when we talk about the immigration? My point is, his administration worked on executive orders a lot. He issued a lot of executive orders, but still he was unable to reverse those programs of the previous American government. I personally think that the institutional strength of America, that is something very important that has always stood up in the hard times, and that will survive and sustain. Because the model through which America works and America operates in the international world is the model of cooperation. And of course, there is enforcement, there is upper hand, but of course, the fundamental is that you have to create allies. They operate through allies, they have allies in Europe, but over the period of time, we have seen that there's a regressive politics. This won't work, because at the end of the day, your international persona as a state and a stature is not something
that in the recent history, all American presidents have gone to war without by bypassing their own parliament and their own institutions. So
that has
I don't
been the
think
case.
I don't think that the institutions hold that much.
I don't
water.
think that Americans can afford other wars now. I mean, enough has been done. Enough damage has been done actually to their economy. Anyway, Dr. Saab, it was a pleasure having you. Abim Saab, thank you so much. Kazmi Saab, thank you so much for your presence as well, sir. And that's all we have for this hour. I'll see you inshallah tomorrow at 8 with a new topic, with new panel of guests, and inshallah I'll see you. Khuda Hafiz.